Good morning and God bless you. I'm coming to you from beautiful downtown Orlando where it has been raining day and night on our vacation here. But it's Father's Day. It's a wonderful day. It's a day to honor our fathers, especially our Father who is in heaven. Well, I'm going to give a short little message here this morning. I have 6 children and 19 grandchildren, and I've been a father for almost 50 years, 49 plus years, and I will tell you that I've picked up a couple of things here and there along the way relating to fatherhood, relating to the raising of children, and some of the spiritual anecdotes that that the Lord has given to me over this past series of years that I have been in ministry. I want to start off by quoting Ephesians chapter 6, verse 2. It says, honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth. So here we have the first admonition of the Apostle Paul relating to a commandment that had a promise attached to it, which is interesting. And the promise that was attached to it, that whoever listens to this, whoever gets this, the Lord says, if you will fulfill that commandment, I will grant you long life on the earth. So you have extended life on the earth. And what is that commandment, Lord? That you would honor your father and your mother. And this is very important, not only just for young people, but for older people as well. I can tell you that I wish that my dad and mom were still alive and I was able to just honor them. But the reality is that while they were here on the earth, which seemed like a very short period of time to me, that there were so many opportunities that I could have been kinder and more of a blessing and more honorable, and time just escaped, and it just goes so fast, and you don't really have those opportunities. But looking back on it, I wish I had those opportunities again. I would act different. So I want to encourage you along the way there, that if you have your mom and dad and they are alive and well on the earth now, honor your father and mother, and the Lord will give you a longevity blessing that is guaranteed as a commandment, that if fulfilled in your life, that promise will be fulfilled, that you will live a long life on the earth as well. And look at Proverbs 17, verse 6 as well. Children are the crown of old men, and the glory of sons is their fathers. So what the Bible is teaching us is that we have a very unique relationship with fathers, mothers, and children back to fathers and mothers as well. The Lord really looks at those, really is desirous of that particular unit and that union to be something that is very spiritual and very anointed. And I will tell you that that this dynamic relationship between fathers and mothers and their children is really a picture of God and his relationship with us as his children as well. So you get a little bit of a picture of fatherhood from God the Father as to how we are to be a father as well. But I wanted to start off this morning by giving you a couple of quotes and a couple of anecdotes that I've picked up over 35 years in ministry and being a family counselor and being a teacher in this particular area for many, many years. And I want to just give you a couple of the pieces of wisdom and anecdotes that I've heard and collected over that period of time. And one of them comes from Tim Russert, who was, as many of you know, he was a news reporter who passed away early. But one of the quotes that he left behind, he says, "The older I get, the smarter my father seems to get." Now, I can really identify with that because in my life, when I was a younger boy, I remember thinking my father didn't know anything at all. My father was like, he was dumb and I was smart, And he didn't understand the rationale of why I should be able to stay out to 2 o'clock in the morning on the weekend nights. He couldn't figure that out, so he wasn't that bright. But as I got older and older, I started to see my father was smarter and smarter. And I hope that some of you younger people will take that advice now and see that your dad probably knows a little bit more than you think he does. And Al Unser Jr. once made a wonderful quote. It was very, very profound and very funny as well. He said, "My dad taught me everything I know. Unfortunately, he didn't teach me everything he knows," which I can also testify to that in my own personal life. When I was growing up, my dad taught me everything I know about finances, about working with men, and how to do certain things. But unfortunately, he didn't teach me everything he knew, because he was excellent and excelled in all of these areas. And it just goes to show you, young people especially, that make sure that you understand that your dads and your moms know more than you think they do. Okay. Here's another piece of wisdom that in portraying fatherhood to your sons and your daughters. It says, fatherhood is pretending that the present that you love the most is a bottle of Old Spice from Walgreens. Now, I can testify to this as well, that it's interesting to me that I've had many, many birthdays, and many times together with Christmas presents, and with my young little daughters and my young little sons giving me Christmas presents and birthday presents, and then you open it up and you find like it's soap on a rope or something. But as a father, seeing the look in their eyes, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to say, this is the greatest gift that I've ever gotten, is this bottle of Old Spice from Walgreens, or soap on a rope. It's seeing the heart of your children and letting them know. And you can't say, well, you know, what kind of a dumb present is this? No, you honor the effort and the energy that they have put into it. And then Keller has a wonderful quote about fathers and their sons and daughters too. He says, the father of a daughter is nothing but a high-class hostage. A father turns a stony face to his sons and scolds them and shakes his antlers and paws the ground. He snorts and runs them off into the underbrush. But when his daughter comes and puts her arm over his shoulder and says, Daddy, I need to ask you for something, he is but a pat of butter in a hot frying pan. Now, I think that's a very graphic but very accurate description of how fathers and daughters relate differently than fathers and sons. I know in my experience it's the same way. I've been very strong on my boys, and when my daughters come and say, well, Dad, you know, I'm like a pat of butter in a frying pan, just like Keller says. Another little anecdote says, a father carries pictures in his wallet where his money used to be. And I can certainly testify to that growing up with my children as well. And then Elizabeth Stone, who's a wonderful, very bright woman, very has a lot of wisdom, made this statement about, having children in general. It says, making the decision to have children is momentous. It is to decide forever to have your heart go walking around outside of your body. And of course, many of us can testify to that we love our children so much, and we're so concerned about them. But I want to tell you that this is a picture of God too. I mean, he wears his heart on his sleeve towards us. He so loved us that he gave up the life of his only begotten Son. And in fatherhood, which is a great picture of that, in our lives as fathers, growing up, especially as I address you young men who are listening today, our fatherhood is in the same respect. It is wearing our hearts out on our sleeves. intrinsically involved in the life of our children, and we're concerned about them as God is concerned about us. So people say, well, you worry about your kids too much. I'll never stop thinking about my child riding his first bicycle or driving his first car or flying in an airplane. Your heart is always outside your body when you choose to have a child, to raise children and to raise a family. Very important posture to take. In Malachi chapter 4, verse 5, it tells you a little bit about the season that we are in too. It says restoring. Malachi says that when the days of Elijah is being fulfilled at the end of time, right before Jesus comes back, the spirit of Elijah will appear on the earth. And it's kind of interesting that the spirit of Elijah, I believe, is even here right now. But one of the chief characteristics of the spirit of Elijah is that he will, in fact, restore the hearts of the fathers back to the children and the children's hearts back to the fathers. So there is a spiritual force, a power, something that's coming from God in the last days in the context of the spirit of Elijah right before Jesus comes back, that is giving an open door and open window for fathers and sons and daughters, of course, to melt their hearts back together again. A great reunion, a great prodigal son, prodigal daughter return of children back to their father in these days. So I want to encourage you on this Father's Day to look forward to that and start to look for what the Lord is doing in the lives of your own family. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 1 says, "Hear, O sons, the instruction of a father, and give attention that you may gain understanding." This is an important concept as well. This goes along with Proverbs chapter 6, verse 20 and 22, which is also the wisdom of Solomon too. He says, "My son, observe the commandment of your father, and do not forsake the teaching of your mother. Bind them continually on your heart. Tie them around your neck. When you walk about, they will guide you. When you sleep, they will watch over you. And when you awake, they will talk to you." For you young people that are watching today, those of you who still have mothers and fathers that are alive on the earth, listen, honor who they are. Listen to what they have to say. They're just not old people from after the World War II. These are people that God has infused wisdom for you, for your instruction, and for your sake, and for your longevity. So you have a treasure in your father, and in your grandfather, and in your mother as well. This kind of short message I wanted to give to you, but I wanted to just end this little message here this morning with speaking to the fathers that are listening this morning. There are 4 classes of father, and I want you to kind of go over this in your own mind and kind of evaluate this 4 sets of different types of fathers. See which kind you are, and see what the Holy Spirit is saying to you about what class of father, what level of father you are. The first one is autocratic. The first type of father is autocratic. He's the guy that says, "You'll do it my way or else. It's my way or the highway." He's an autocrat. This is what he's more of a dictator than anything else. It's his house. You'll do exactly what he says in that house, and there's no dialogue. The second level is called the permissive father. Now, the permissive father is the guy who says to his kids, or he acts with his kids, that you can do anything you want to do. He's very permissive. He allows them to do anything. You want to drink, you want to smoke, you want to run with your kids, you want to be out to 2 o'clock in the morning. He is just so permissive because he's not involved. And he's not responsible for the discipline of his children. And then the third type of father, the third class of father, is the neglectful father. Now, the neglectful father is the guy who winds up saying, I don't really care what you do. I have no care about it. He neglects the responsibility of raising his kids. He's not only permissive, but he completely is neglectful. He just lets things run amok. But the fourth kind of father is the kind of father I pray that you are, and that you are striving to be in the Lord. And this fourth type of father is the relational father, the relational man. He says this. He says, I'm listening. I care about you. I want you to understand. This time we'll do it this way because this is the right way to do it. Let me show you how this works. He is the guy that's listening. He's trying to relate. He's trying to find out where his kid is coming from so that he can relate to them and show them the right way. So he's involving them in the process. Just the opposite of an autocrat or a dictator. He's not the guy who says my way or the highway. He's the guy who's saying, I want to understand. I want to understand what you're thinking and why you see things this way. And I want to show you, based on all my wisdom and experience, why that understanding is not in your best interest. That's called the relational father. And then there are 4 levels of what I call a great father. And this is something that we all need to judge. I do this regularly in my own life as well, even though all my kids are all grown now. I'm an empty nester, so to speak. This is the levels of a great father. You can judge yourself against these levels. The mediocre father, or the mediocre parent even, is the one who just tells things. He is like the autocrat. He just tells things. The good parent, he explains things. A good parent will always explain how this is working. A great parent will demonstrate these things. So he'll actually, with his own life, demonstrate what he's trying to get across to his child. But the superior parent is the parent who inspires his child. Now that's a very difficult understanding, but let me tell you, these are the 4 levels. The mediocre parent tells, the good parent explains, the great parent demonstrates, but the superior parent inspires. When you are inspiring somebody, it has to do with breathing life and vision into your child so that they can be all that they can be, greater than they think they can be, and that is inspirational. It's better to be an inspirational father than it is to be an instructive father, according to the Bible. So you want to inspire your children, dads. You want to inspire them to be all they can be in the Lord. And I might just add this. The most important thing that you can do for your child is not material. When you're gone from this earth, it's not what you leave your child in the bank or a house or a car. The greatest things that you can leave your child when you're gone is spiritual, is faith, hope, love, spiritual understanding, inspiration. Those are the great things. Those are the things of the greatest value. While most parents and most fathers spend time working on material things with their kids. That's not the right way to go. And also I want to just end with this one thought for husbands and wives who have children in the home. The most important thing a father can do in front of his children is to love their mother. There is a unique relationship between mothers and children. It's very spiritual. It is absolutely supernatural. It is a God thing. And there's something that happens, gentlemen, when you love your wife in front of your children. That means kissing your wife, holding her hands, giving her a hug, speaking honorably to your wife instead of berating your wife or yelling or screaming at your wife. Listen, if you have an argument with your wife, take it into the bedroom and close the door. Never fight in front of your kids. They need to see that you're loving their mother and that you are an honorable man. And when it's their turn to get married, that's the viewpoint of marriage they will have as well. And they will become honorable, responsible, respectful young men and women in their marriages as well. And it will cut the divorce rate down in Christianity, which it should have done if people were following the word of the Lord to begin with. It would be more reconcilable instead of irreconcilable in the end. So I just wanted to encourage you on this Father's Day, especially the men, be a great father in the Lord. Be an inspirational man. Act like Jesus, walk like Jesus, talk like Jesus. Be full of grace, be full of mercy, and be full of the Holy Spirit. And the Lord will bless your home, bless your finances, bless your health, and your well-being as well. It's just the way he does things. Well, God bless each and every one of you. I love you. We are here as I said, downtown Orlando in the middle of rainstorms. But we will be back in Tennessee in a couple of weeks, and we will be coming live to you from our studios back there as well. So shalom, each and every one of you. If those of you who are wanting to have questions or you have comments you want to make, please go to our website, cornerstonechurchtn.com, and you'll see everything that you need to know about us there. Well, God bless you, each and every one. It's always wonderful to be with you, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Shalom.